Candace Olson, and I'm doing this presentation on gender equality. This is for PE 570. All right, so gender equality. For centuries, athletics and the athletic industry have been mostly dominated by males. However, with laws taking place and put into effect, gender equalities has changed drastically. It did not change overnight, but it changed through a pretty big span of time, 30 to 40 years. And it's been evolving ever since. So we're going to go over what gender equality actually is, what it looks like in the athletic programs, and what laws helped establish this. All right, so my values and beliefs about gender equality, well, I was a former female high school athlete. I was blessed to be able to play basketball, softball, and it helped me tremendously develop my character. I would not be where I am today without athletics. I wasn't the best student, but I knew I had to get good grades in order to keep playing my sports. So that's what really pushed me through high school, and then not really through college because I didn't play, but it gave me all those characteristics and traits to help me push through college. I learned different things like guidance, I learned structure, discipline, teamwork, sportsmanship, and just so much more. It really has developed me as a person. I think we're currently in a very exciting time because women's sports are starting to grow. There's more of them, more people are interested in them. I think one of the coolest things is at our Rio Olympics for 2016, the U.S. women brought home more medals than the men or any other country. So the women dominated. They brought home 61 medals as our men brought home 55 medals. So I thought that was a great thing. We're bringing home more medals. We're up there. We're competing. So we've come a long way, but that doesn't mean that we can't keep pushing and coming further for women in their sports. So it doesn't mean the battle is over yet. So as the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization states, gender equality means equality between men and women, the freedom to develop and make choices unhindered by gender stereotypes, roles, and prejudice, that the different behaviors, aspirations, and needs for women and men are considered, valued, and favored equally. It does not mean that women and men have to become the same, but that their rights, responsibilities, and opportunities do not depend on whether they were born male or female. This became extremely important in the 1970s. So here is kind of our timeline for the gender equality movement. So in 1972, we had a law called Title IX. This law, which we'll go over in a few slides, this law really changed things for women in sports. It was then froze in 1983. There was some other educational acts along the way. There was a Restoration Act, Equity one, again Title IX here, Title IX here. There was a Commission on Opportunities in Athletics. So there was quite a few things, as you see, that actually made a difference in gender equality in athletics and in education. So what actually changed it? It was Title IX. So Title IX was passed in 1972, and it states no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subject to discrimination under any educational program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. So this is where all the discriminations towards the female athletics, they weren't huge in sports. They weren't huge in the athletic programs. So this is kind of where we started to see the change after this was implemented, because then they had to start making more opportunities for female sports. All right, so Title IX athletic requirements. So females and male students should have equal opportunity to play sports. This is one thing that Title IX, you have to have equal opportunities for them to play sports. Does that mean that there has to be equal female teams and equal male teams? No, but it has to be equal opportunity. A school needs to offer opportunities for both males and females. You can't just have all the males or all the females at a school playing sports. You need to have equal opportunity. A school cannot offer 2 sports for females and 10 sports for males if they have relatively the same in the student body. If we have 50% females and 50% males in our student population, then we can't just have 2 sports for women or for females and 10 sports for males. It's not proportionate. Okay, so our second requirement in an athletic program, both females and males have equal benefits and services within the athletic program. So this includes a few different things. You can have equipment and supplies. They have to have equal benefits. The men or the male sports can't be receiving all the funding for equipment and supplies. It has to be equal here. Travel allowances, locker rooms and facilities, housing and dining, scheduling for games and practices, opportunities for coaching, medical and training, and publicity. So we can't just get all the information out there for the males and not the females. We have to do it both. We can't just do it for all the females and not the males. We have to be working on equal benefits. We don't want to just give all the travel allowances to the male sports and then leave the females where they don't have any busing or anything. So we have to make sure that's equal benefits. Okay, our third requirement is when it comes to athletic scholarships, females and males must be given fair shares. So I created a table here to show. So if we have number of student athletes, so if we have 200 athletes in the entire school, we'll just say, and the percentage of females is 40% of the population, which would be 80 students, and the males is 60%, which is 120. So we have more males at this particular school. Then the percentage of academic scholarship money has to be within 1% of the population. So it was 40% females, so the athletic money that's actually going for scholarships has to be between 39 to 41%. And same for the males. If they're at 60, it has to be between 59 and 61%. It has to be proportional. If we had 50% and 50%, then the athletic scholarship money should be 49 to 51%. Okay, how can schools show they are in compliance? So there's different ways to show that a school is in compliance with Title IX or is out of compliance. So the first thing, there are 3 ways to demonstrate compliance. So our first way here is that the number of males and female athletes are proportionate to how many males and females are enrolled in schools. I love talking about stuff being proportionate because I'm a math teacher actually. So proportionate is a huge thing in math. It's a huge thing in Title IX too. We have to show proportionality. So if we have 100 students and 500 are female and 500 are male, and the total athletes for female are 240, and the total student athletes are 240. So it has to be, if 500 and 500, so half, then half, it has to be equal. These have to be equal. If these are both 50% of the population, then the number of athletes have to be. So 120 female and 120. So that would make our ratio 1-to-1. For every 1 male student, there's 1 female student. And that was our ratio for our student body also. So let's take an example like this. If we have 1,000 students, but 600, so we have more females than males, so it still has to be a proportion. If we have 200 student athletes, it still has to be proportion. So for here, there's 600 females, 400 males. Well, the student athlete, there's 50 for females and 150. So that's now our ratios were 6-to-4. So 6 to 4, this being female to male. But then our student athletes is 1 to 3. So this is not proportionate. This will not work. You can't have that many females to males and then have it almost reversed and almost flipped. So this would not be proportionate. This example, the ratios are equal, so it is in fact proportionate. All right, how else can schools? So this is the next way a school can show that they are in compliance. So a school can show they are in compliance if they show they are continuing to expand opportunities for female athletics. So they have to actually be able to show this and prove this. The school must put forth effort to actually expand the opportunities. They can do this by adding teams, adding players, so they can add more players to the teams. They could, oh, we didn't have a female softball team. Well, let's add a female softball team. Oh, we didn't have female hockey. Okay, ice hockey. Well, we can add that. So we need to meet the needs of our students. You can do this by asking the students, well, what are student requests? What sports would they like to see? We could view intramurals, see, okay, well the females really like soccer, the females really like ice hockey, what did they really like, and then go from there. This way the school can see where the expansion needs to take place. Okay, so the third way to show compliance. If the school is meeting the proportionate criteria, the school can still be in compliance if the school is fully meeting the female athletic interests and abilities. So if the females don't want to play, well, we're not going to take that out on the male population. Maybe the school is meeting the criteria. Okay, they do want basketball. We have basketball. They do want softball. They do want. Maybe none of the girls, they tried to form an ice hockey team, and maybe none of the girls wanted to play. Well, that doesn't mean they're out of compliance. That just means that the girls didn't want to join an ice hockey team. Okay, so the aftermath. Aftermath. So this is kind of what happened before Title IX and after. So before Title IX, there was fewer than 32,000 that competed in intercollegiate athletics. Then that rose to over 207,000. So it rose a lot. 2% of athletic scholarships were awarded to females beforehand. More than 54%, so more than 54% of the students are in the NCAA schools are female, but they only account for 43% of the athletics, so it still has grown. Men receive about double the amount of money spent on athletics. About 300,000 female school that's roughly, before Title IX in the 70s. Now we have 2.7 million female athletes that are competing. So that has increased tremendously. We have so many more now. So are we where we need to be? And what is our next step? What is the next step? How do we keep expanding upon this? Since Title IX, some 40 years ago, we've had tremendous improvements, participation, success. Like I said, the Rio Olympics was proof of that. However, so Jennings, the beach volleyball player, she stated, I think the numbers speak for themselves. Title IX created a movement, and that's not stopping anytime soon. For me, I have not had an opportunity. For me, I would have never had an opportunity, and it's all because of Title IX. So she wouldn't have had all these opportunities if it wasn't for Title IX. Title IX is what gave her a lot of these opportunities. She can play competitively in high school, and then take that to college, then went to the Rio Olympics, and has won so many gold records. We've had extreme growth, but that doesn't mean we can stop. We can't just, we still have deficits. Part of our deficits lie in the coaching world. Women represent only 2% of head coaches for men's teams. 16.9 athletic directors, so 16.9% of athletic directors are female. 27.8 of full-time athletic trainers are female, and 40% of head coaches for women's teams are also female. So we still are seeing discrepancy there. Just because we see improvement doesn't mean we can stop pushing. So we have seen improvement, but that doesn't mean we can stop pushing. We need to continue and growing, and hopefully we can work on maybe getting more head coaches, athletic directors, and coaching more women's teams. All right, thanks.